Ever since 24-year-old Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin suffered a shocking cardiac arrest during Monday night's game in Cincinnati, misinformation about the COVID vaccines has been exploding online and on cable. Despite doctors saying there's no evidence to link Hamlin's condition to any vaccine, listen to Fox's Tucker Carlson putting out vaccine misinformation on Tuesday night.
Cardiologist Peter McCullough and researcher Pangus Polycretis looked into this trend in European sports leagues. They found that prior to COVID and the COVID-19 vaccines, there were roughly 29 cardiac arrests in those European sports leagues per year. Since the Vax campaign began, there have been more than 1,500 total cardiac arrests in those leagues, and 2/3 of those were fatal.
It's time to debunk this dangerous anti-vax nonsense. Give me just 60 seconds. Start the clock. Tucker Carlson doesn't have any real data for his conspiratorial COVID vaccine claims. As the AP pointed out this week, Carlson was referencing a letter, not a rigorous study, a letter that a controversial cardiologist and a researcher co-published in a Scandinavian journal late last year. And that letter relied on a fringe blog as its source, a blog. And that blog, by the way, got to that 1,500 number by compiling a list of recent deaths from a bunch of news reports, including deaths which weren't even linked to cardiac arrest. Some of them were a result of cancer. Look, there is a tiny risk of the COVID vaccine causing myocarditis, inflammation of the heart. But as podcaster Joe Rogan, another prominent pusher of vaccine misinformation, embarrassingly discovered in the midst of his show last year, the risk of getting myocarditis from COVID actually outweighs the risk of getting it from the vaccine. That's what data from the US Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices shows. And look, the reality is, as the CDC points out, as of October last year, Americans who were vaccinated with an updated bivalent booster shot had an 18.6 times lower risk of dying from COVID-19 than the unvaccinated did. So when Tucker Carlson and other journalists on air or online push vaccine skepticism and even misinformation, they are effectively and shamefully putting at risk the lives of their own viewers and their own readers. It's shameful.